A factory costs $100 million today and pays back over 10 years. Is that actually a good deal? Here's exactly how companies answer that question. Today we're breaking down NPV and IRR, the two tools every company uses to decide whether a big project is actually worth the money. Here's the starting idea. $100 in your hand today is worth more than the same $100 promised to you 10 years from now. Prices rise, and that money could have been earning something in the meantime. This one idea is the whole foundation of NPV and IRR. So how do we compare money from different years fairly? We discount it. We shrink every future dollar down to what it's actually worth today. A dollar 5 years away gets shrunk more than a dollar next year. That process is called discounting. How much do we shrink it by? That's the discount rate, usually the company's cost of capital, or simply what this money could have earned elsewhere. If a company can normally earn 12% on its money, that 12% becomes the discount rate. Net present value, or NPV, takes every future cash flow from a project, discounts each one back to today, and adds them up, then subtracts what you had to spend to start the project. What's left is NPV. Let's make this concrete. A factory costs $100 million today. In return, it's expected to generate cash flows every year for the next 10 years, some years more, some less, but growing over time. Each of those 10 yearly cash flows gets discounted back to today's value using our discount rate. Add up all 10 discounted amounts, subtract the $100 million it cost to build the factory, and you get one number, the NPV. The decision rule is simple. If NPV comes out positive, the project adds wealth. Fund it. If NPV is negative, the project destroys wealth even if it looks profitable on paper. Walk away. That's really what NPV is telling you. Not a percentage, not a ratio, but an actual dollar amount. How much richer this project makes the company, measured in today's money. Internal rate of return, or IRR, asks a different question. Instead of a dollar amount, IRR gives you a percentage. The rate of return the project itself is generating. Here's the intuition. No scary formula needed. IRR is simply the discount rate at which NPV exactly balances out to zero, the rate where costs and returns are perfectly even. That break-even rate is the IRR. The decision rule for IRR: compare it to your hurdle rate, the minimum return you'd accept. If the project's IRR clears that bar, it's worth funding. If it falls short, it isn't. IRR is popular because it collapses a complicated multi-year project into one clean, comparable percentage. Executives love a single number they can rank projects by at a glance. Let's put them side by side. NPV gives you a dollar amount. IRR gives you a percentage. NPV assumes you reinvest at the discount rate, a realistic assumption. IRR assumes you reinvest at the IRR itself, which for a very high IRR is often unrealistic. And IRR can actually mislead you when projects are different sizes. NPV can't. Here's the good news. For a single, straightforward project, NPV and IRR almost always agree on the decision. Positive NPV lines up with an IRR above the hurdle rate. Most of the time, you don't even need to think about the difference. The trouble starts when you're choosing between two mutually exclusive projects of different sizes. You can only pick one. That's exactly when NPV and IRR can point to different winners. Say Project A is small and returns a stunning 40% IRR. Project B is much larger and returns a more modest 18% IRR. But because it's so much bigger, it creates far more total wealth. IRR says pick A, NPV says pick B. This is one of the most common myths in finance, that a higher IRR automatically means a better project. It doesn't. IRR ignores the actual scale of the project, and it assumes you can reinvest future cash at that same sky-high rate, which is rarely realistic. So which one wins when they conflict? NPV does, every time. NPV directly measures how much richer the company gets in real dollars. IRR is a useful shortcut, but it's still just a rate, not a dollar. In India, large companies run every major capex decision, a new factory, a new plant, through exactly this framework, using their weighted average cost of capital, or WACC, as the discount rate. U.S. companies run the identical process. The math doesn't change across borders, only the numbers going into it, like the local cost of capital, differ. In the real world, finance teams rarely use just one. NPV drives the actual funding decision, while IRR is used to communicate the opportunity in a simple, comparable percentage that's easy to present. Let's recap. Money today is worth more than the same money later. That's why we discount. NPV tells you how much richer a project makes you, in today's dollars. IRR tells you the project's own break-even rate of return. And when the two disagree on differently sized projects, NPV wins. Comparing projects is one thing, but how a company funds itself in the first place shapes who profits later. Next time, does it keep the cash or pay it out? If this helped you understand NPV and IRR, subscribe. A new story every episode.